Sherehe, mambo ni mawili, kufikisha, kumwaga na kurudi. Kulala ni mwaka mpya.
Muka we mse. Nini mbaya? Wewe kwani wani vile dereva anaendesha gari vibaya? Lazima tususe.
Anaendesha gari na kwa simu the whole time. Hata angalia barabara.
Mamiseni dereva tusimame. Wewe dereva wewe. Mwaka iliyopita peke yake watu zaidi ya 1000 walipoteza maisha yao barabarani kwa sababu ya tabia kama hizo. Hautatuangamiza tukiona.
Naomba msamaha, nitamtaka vizuri.
Si wameomba msamaha. Sasa tuende tusafiri kwa mwendo wa aste.
Dere Smart hufikisha abiria salama. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
Catch the Kisumu and Nanyuki Safari trains as you travel back from your festivities. The daily service runs up to 14th January 2024, with the Nanyuki train departing at 9 a.m. and the Kisumu train at 6:30 p.m. Book tickets easily by visiting the Nairobi Central Station or call 011-516-9759 or 011-510-2558 for an enjoyable travel experience to and from Kisumu and Nanyuki. That's not all. Enjoy a seamless travel experience on the Madaraka Express passenger service operating at 8 a.m., 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. between Nairobi and Mombasa. Also, catch the Suswa train every Friday, Saturday and Sunday at 8:50 a.m. operating between Nairobi Terminus and Suswa Station for an unforgettable experience. To book, dial *639# or visit metickets.krc.co.ke. It's safe, affordable, reliable. For inquiries, contact us on 0709 907 000.
Well, good evening to you. Welcome to Prime Edition. A happy new year. It is the 3rd of January 2024. And of course, we hope the year is coming up well for you. Tonight, Kenya's Grand Investment Plan. What lies ahead in terms of investment opportunities that are in for the people and the youth of the Republic of Kenya. We have the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, the Honorable Rebecca Miano, speaking to us tonight. Don't go too far, tune in for that conversation. But of course, in the meantime, we have what has been happening across the country and indeed outside the continent and the Republic. Please do tune in for the next 1 hour so I inform you what has been happening. Here are tonight's highlights. Rooting for a peaceful Sudan. President William Ruto holds talks with Rapid Support Forces leader General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. We will not be intimidated. Chief Justice Martha Koome defends the judiciary against claims that the courts are being used to scuttle the government's development agenda. And the Ruiru land row. Drama as homeowners eject earth movers constructing roads in the Gekumari area. Lucy Moura is a sign language interpreter. My name is John Jacob Kioria. You're very much welcome to the broadcast. to status of President William Ruto has this afternoon held talks with Sudan's Rapid Support Forces leader, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, on forging peace in Sudan. The president says Kenya is committed to facilitating dialogue between the two warring divides to end the conflict in Sudan, in which thousands of people have lost their lives.
President William Ruto today hosted Sudan's Rapid Support Forces leader, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, at the State House in Nairobi. The two met and held talks on finding a lasting solution to the conflict in Sudan. The president reiterated Kenya's commitment to ensuring the return of peace in Sudan through facilitating dialogue between the two warring sides, one led by Sudan's de facto ruler, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the other by General Dagalo. The head of state said the ongoing Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD talks should bring about a political settlement that would effect a lasting peace in Sudan. Wednesday's meeting came months after President Ruto met Sudan de facto leader and Army General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and agreed to work towards a framework for an all-inclusive dialogue. Conflict in Sudan broke out on April 15, 2023, in the capital Khartoum, claiming about 12,000 lives. Giverson Mana, Prime Edition.
Let me tell you about what led to a statement I'm about to read you in a bit. But Chief Justice Martha Koome now says judicial officers will not be intimidated in their mandate to deliver justice on various issues before the courts. In a statement, the Chief Justice said the judiciary has recently been subjected to public criticism and vilification, but assured Kenyans that all cases before the courts will be handled with utmost judicial independence and without fear or favor.
Wa Kenya tusiwapunguzie hawa wenye mapato ya chini kutoka 500 mpaka 300 waendelee kulipa 500 na wao waendelee kuiba hiyo pesa. Ati wa Kenya waendelee kuishi kwa slums. Ati wa Kenya wasipate nyumba. Na hawa ambao wako kotini ni watu wako na medical insurance inalipwa na wa Kenya.
A day after President William Ruto claimed a section of the judges were being bribed to derail the Kenya Kwanza administration development agenda, the President of the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Martha Koome, is no longer holding back. In a statement, Chief Justice Martha Koome says allegations that some officers from the judiciary have been operating with impunity are false and urged magistrates and judges to exercise their duties in accordance with the law. The Chief Justice says Kenyans have a right to seek judicial redress on areas of concern and also called upon state officials to respect decisions by the courts. According to the Chief Justice, complaints on corruption within the judiciary should be forwarded before the Judicial Service Commission instead of vilifying judicial officers in public. Sentiments echoed by Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition leader Raila Odinga, who faulted the president for constantly attacking the judiciary.
Judiciary is too critical to the well-being of our country and our democracy, making it extremely important that we call Ruto out and tell him that he has crossed the line. It is ridiculous to now hear the biggest political beneficiary of judicial decisions in Kenya's history now accuse the institution of sabotaging him. But this is not about the judiciary. This is about where Ruto wishes to take Kenya and what it means for Kenyans.
Speaking in Mombasa, Odinga claimed intimidation of judicial officers was a threat to the Constitution. Meanwhile, the Law Society of Kenya has called on its members to participate in the countrywide protest slated for next week to reaffirm their oath to defend the Constitution. Law Society of Kenya President Eric Theuri says the protest will be held in solidarity with the judiciary following continued attacks on it. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mongai.
All right, and now we have a statement from Hussein Mohammed, the State House spokesperson, and that is as regards the criticism that the president has faced today, particularly from the Law Society of Kenya that has called for demonstrations next week, really, from their members to protest against the president's would be interference with the judiciary. And the statement is quite long, really defending the president's remarks during his New Year Day speech, as well as his speech during the burial of the father to Nyandero Senator John Medhu. But I'll just take about 4 paragraphs very quickly, because it's really a long statement. And Hussein says, corruption, whether within the judiciary, the executive, or the legislature, and indeed among the general public, must not find refuge behind the shield of judicial independence. It is our duty to expose and hold accountable those who engage in corrupt practices, whoever they may be and wherever they are. He goes ahead to say, historically, Kenya has been held back by a few corrupt individuals and those with vested interests who impede inclusive national development. There is a moment in history when our country has a chance to break free from the chains of impunity and realize the transformation mandated by the people and legislated by Parliament. This can only be achieved by countering the influence of vested interests and corrupt judicial officers. Hussein Abbas, it would be a dereliction of the president's oath of office and a betrayal of the people's mandate to allow their hopes and aspirations to be obstructed by corruption and impunity. Just last month, independent institutions were stopped from charging suspects of corruption. Should individuals investigated by the DCI and the EACC find refuge in courts to circumvent the criminal justice system, it is unacceptable that such suspects are now roaming free in our streets with impunity. No stretch of imagination can baptize this as judicial independence. It is indeed judicial impunity. And lastly, says, shall we tolerate the plight of millions of young people languishing in unemployment? Shall millions of Kenyans persist in enduring impoverishment due to exorbitant medical bills and the loss of loved ones lacking access to universal health coverage? Shall millions of our fellow citizens continue living in squalor, with 7 million Kenyans residing in slums? The executive is mandated to deliver to the people after an election. Should the president fulfill commitments to the people and their needs, or should the executive seek concurrence from the judiciary to deliver on what the people voted for? That's the statement from Hussein Mohammed. He's the State House spokesperson and really appearing to defend President William Ruto from criticism that has been coming from all corners for the better part of the day today, accusing him of attempts to interfere with the independence of the judiciary or intimidating judges. Let's move on to education matters now. And the National Treasury has released 31.34 billion shillings capitation fee in preparation for the reopening of schools next week. The allocation will facilitate free primary education and also capitation for junior secondary schools for the first term for the 2024 school calendar. Other monies will be channeled to help fund free day secondary education and also pay school examination and invigilation fees.
It is a reprieve to schools across the country after the National Treasury released 31.34 billion shillings capitation fee in preparation for schools reopening next week. 4.7 billion shillings has been channeled to facilitate free primary education in the first term. In the meantime, the State Department for Basic Education has been allocated 7.6 billion shillings as capitation for junior secondary schools in the first term, while 2.8 billion shillings has been allocated for school examination and invigilation fees. At the same time, 16.2 billion shillings will go to free day secondary education. Earlier Wednesday afternoon, a section of the clergy had urged the government through the Ministry of Education to release promptly the capitation of the calendar year 2024 to ensure the smooth running of schools across the country.
I want to call upon the Ministry of Education to ensure that they have done part of their bargain to the schools to ensure that our children, as they get back next week to schools, they are able to stay when they have their capitation already in their banks.
Elsewhere, residents of Majembe, Lamu County expressed frustration over lack of operation of the local vocational training center in the last decade, which has left the youth facing significant challenges acquiring crucial skills.
Hili jengo lilianza 2014 na wakati lilipoanza yule aliyekuwa amepewa contractor baada ya kuendelea ilionekana ni kama alikuwa amepewa pesa yote kwa pamoja, sababu contract ilimpewa na stages. Baada ya hapo jengo likasimama.
Wengine wamemaliza form 4 hawezi kwenda zaidi, lakini shule kama hii inaweza kuwaongeza maarifa, ujenzi, kazi ambao ili iwe msaada wao.
lakini wangekuwa na ujuzi nao pia wangejipatia shughuli ya kutafuta shilingi, lakini sasa hivi kupata shilingi watoto wetu ni vigumu.
Meanwhile, parents in Nakuru flock to bookshops and uniform stores to purchase merchandise in readiness for the new academic year have expressed frustration about the high cost of education in the country.
What makes me worry and wonder is about how these poor parents are being made to buy desks. In every grade 1 intake, a parent is told to come with a desk. And when you bring a desk, a little desk which is chargeable, you are told to take the desk back home and bring cash money. The cash money which are never received. And this matter is most rampant in Nakuru City.
This is not that friendly, but all the same, it all depends on how you prepared or how merry your Christmas was. So we had to spare some coins to ensure that we preserve some budget for the books. It's not that friendly, but it's manageable.
Nimetoka kutafuta uniform ya mtoto. Akili liko bei kali sana.
Timothy Kipnoso for Prime Edition.
To another controversial matter, residents of Kikumari area in Ruiru sub-county ejected earth movers constructing roads in an area they claim ownership. The residents caused drama and held demonstrations, accusing high-ranking individuals of eyeing the prime property that approximates 23,000 acres.
Hell broke loose at Gikumari area in Ruiru, Kiambu County after residents forcefully evicted earth movers that were constructing roads in the area. According to the irate residents, high-ranking individuals have intentions to grab the 23,000 acres, subdivide it into plots and sell them. Chaos began after Area Deputy County Commissioner Margaret Mbogwa openly described their title deeds as fake, but the locals claim they have lived in the area for more than 40 years.
Tumetokea juu tuliambiwa title yenye iko Ruiru ni fake. Na tukaambiwa tukitaka kujua ukweli tuende Ardhi House. Kwa hivyo kuna title za Ardhi House na Sahapa.
Shamba zilipasuriwa 1976. Kwa saa hizi tumeanza kusikia ati ziko na mtu binafsi. Huyu mtu binafsi tunatumana hata atupatiwi nini yetu, atupatiwi venye tunauliza na serikali.
The administrator however refuted the claims of eviction, saying that she was not aware of any plans to evict the occupiers and maintained that the government was only opening up the roads in the area. But the irate locals claim a private developer is forcefully cutting roads into their land.
Tunataka wakubwa wote watuangalie na macho ya huruma juu tumelea watoto tukiwa hapa. Saa hii hatujui tutapeleka watoto shule wapi.
Tunashinda hata sikukuu hatukukula vizuri. Tumedhoofika sana, hata kazi hatufanyi. Kazi tutapata wapi? Mashamba wanachukua yetu.
Gishuki Washira, Prime Edition.
Well, there is another developing story here, and the three-judge bench of a court of appeal led by presiding judge Lydia Ochode will now rule on whether to suspend the housing levy that was declared unconstitutional by the High Court last year on the 26th of January 2024. Wednesday, the bench had oral submissions from applicants and respondents, with stay orders applications sought by the councils representing the government being top of the agenda. The High Court on the 28th of November last year extended the stay orders until 10th of January 2024, which means then the government has about 8 days before the lapse of that stay order.
Of day, whether we can give or not give the short-term conservatory orders.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On my part, my lady, I'll be opposing. I will oppose that application. Thank you, my lady.
I'm sure most of you are opposing, and a few of you are for. That's why I'm saying we don't want to hear what of you. People need to go and recharge and then go and contest.
Community members in Nyatike, Migori County have combined efforts to regenerate schools in Asori State in the area. Apart from financial support, they serve as casual laborers, hence minimizing the construction cost. The initiative was first conceived by Kennedy Okongo, who later mobilized his friends through social media to take part in the noble cause.
Nyatike area in Migori County. Kennedy Okongo decided to rise above all odds to give schools in the area a facelift. With schools in the area characterized by cracked walls and porous roofs, his first move was to mobilize his friends through Facebook and WhatsApp.
We formed a WhatsApp group. We contributed money through that WhatsApp group. Most of it came to me, and that is what we applied to put up what you are able to see now.
Through the Agenga School Regeneration Project, he delivered 4 trucks of building material to the construction site.
We organized hardcore. We brought bricks, and I set aside some money that could purchase cement. I also identified a fundi who is still on site, and we agreed on our work plan.
The project has so far drawn traction from the community members.
Tulikuwa na madarasa lakini zilikuwa zimezeeka, zilijengwa kwa hizo miaka zilizopita. Sasa hiyo tunatoa shukrani sana kwa sababu sasa watoto wetu wanaenda kupata hizo madarasa ambayo hawatakuwa wanachafuka. Ni zile safi, hata shule imekuwa safi sasa.
We have new rooms, 7 rooms, which we think now will accommodate our pupils. We thank the well-wishers and the community at large who contributed for the construction of the new building, the 7 rooms. And we think now, as the rooms are new, again, we will have a new result.
Those with low financial muscle are taking part as well by acting as casual laborers.
Most of our primary schools, some of them are worse than what we have, but most of them are bad. They need intervention.
Nancy Kware, Prime Edition.
Elected leaders and elders from the Turkana and Samburu communities have resolved to volunteer the names of criminals operating in the regions to security agencies. The elders say the move will protect innocent civilians from summary arrests and harassment in efforts to rid the regions of banditry and other forms of insecurity.
We will not harbor criminals. That's the message that elders in Turkana and Samburu are sending to bandits operating in the region.
Na nataka kusema kwamba waizi na wale wa baba ya waizi, sisi hatutarudi nyuma. Sisi tutaendelea kutetea jamii wetu wasiumie kwa sababu ya watu wawili.
Speaking during a meeting held at Samburu Complex, Ngaremara Ward MCA Peter Losu said the leaders are aware of the enormity of the impending security operation and will not let innocent people be made to suffer for the mistakes made by few known criminals.
Serikali wakija, sisi viongozi tunashika serikali mkono, tunaambia huyu ndio ameiba, huyu ndio ametukosesha amani, huyu ndio ameharibu majana yetu. Ndio serikali ifanya operation kwa yule mtu ambaye amefanya ubaya, amefanya kitendo.
The government has announced plans to flush out bandits in the region, and locals are worried that they may be caught up in the exercise.
Police in Nairobi County have arrested 7 people found selling illicit brew in Kayole. Confirming the incident, Njiru Sub-County Commander Lucas Songaya urged members of the public to be cautious and avoid consuming alcoholic drinks that could be harmful to them. Those engaging in the illegal business have also been put on notice. A story and more in our County News Roundup.
During the day-long operation that included a multi-agency team, police from Kayole Police Station in Nairobi arrested 7 people found selling illicit brew.
The ceilings, the serial numbers, most of them seem to resemble, showing that there is something wrong with them. So it appears they are serving citizens with dangerous brews that can affect their health.
Njiru Sub-County Commander Lucas Ongaya warned those brewing and selling illicit brew to look for alternative business, saying police will crack the whip on them. Still in Nairobi, businessmen in the Santon area of Kasarani constituency are complaining of being harassed by officials who claim to be from the standard control body KBC. Various shopkeepers say that the officers, together with police officers in the area, have been extorting money from them.
Hata kwa sasa mfanyakazi wangu bado ameshikwa. Sijaweza kumtoa. Sasa mimi ningeomba at least tukue na protection unit. Venye watu venye wanakuonyesha hiyo ID hata wewe hujui kama ni ya ukweli ama ni fake.
Tumekuwa tukihangaishwa hapa na watu ambao wanakuja kwa duka ambao wanasema tunauza vitu expired. Na hiyo kitu inatudhuru sisi na imedhuru biashara zetu. So tukiomba authorities wale ambao wanatakiwa watuangalie.
Elsewhere, Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo, through the Eliud Owalo Foundation, will pay secondary school fees for 14-year-old David Muga, who scored 399 marks and risked missing out a chance to join Maseno School due to lack of school fees.
I also did my homework on the ground to confirm that this was really a deserving case. And having come to the conclusion that the boy really needed help, I decided that through the Eliud Owalo Foundation, we are going to adapt this boy and facilitate his education at Maseno School all the way from Form 1 to Form 4.
Finally, a section of residents in remote parts of Kilifi County have expressed optimism that the county government of Kilifi will undertake development in the area. This comes after Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro launched the County Mashinani program in March 2023, which aims at ensuring that the county executive shifts their operations to the ward level at least 3 months in a year. The officers are mandated to engage the public in every step of the development programs available, inspect current projects and launch new ones as sanctioned by the people. Pauline Nasimiu for Prime Edition.
Well, it's time for us to take a breather on Prime Edition, but remember, after business and sports, we have an exclusive interview with the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, the Honourable Rebecca Miano. And of course, the plan is Kenya's grand investment plan and what lies ahead for the Republic in the next 1 year or two. But of course, you'll also get to know a bit about her life. Let's take that breather.
We've gone ahead tukamaliza pia school fees ya your other kid.
Thank you God. Asante sana Loto Moto.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Kwenye ulimwengu wa sasa, taaluma za mikono zina umaarufu mwingi. Jiunge na Sensei Institute of Technology tukupe ujuzi na uzoefu wa kushughulikia ulimwengu. Tunafunza taaluma kama plant operator, plant mechanics, kuendesha gari na trailer, kuweka CCTV na alarm, kuweka solar, kuweka stima, motorcycle, motor vehicle mechanics na electronics, teknolojia ujenzi wa mijengo, ujenzi wa barabara na mabwawa, hospitality na taaluma nyinginezo. Kujiunga nasi, beba kitambulisho chako na utembelee tawi letu lolote. Sensei College, my skills, my future.
够了！你以为这点小把戏能骗得了我吗？至少轮到我了。
Catch the Kisumu and Nanyuki Safari trains as you travel back from your festivities. The daily service runs up to 14th January 2024, with the Nanyuki train departing at 9 a.m. and the Kisumu train at 6:30 p.m.
Spoken word on the way to go.
spoken word is like a window that God has shown me. Oh, ulipitia kwa hii mlango, so kuna ile ka window pia naona uko poa, unaweza try. But then unajua kuna ile ngoma ya Betty Baya ya 11th hour. So nilikuwa najiambia ile time yenye naenda kufanya kitu mbaya, ama God nikupatie hiyo usiku, nione kama kesho utanipatia jibu. Then napata nimeweza kusurvive one more day.
To book, dial *639# or visit metickets.krc.co.ke. It's safe, affordable, reliable. For inquiries, contact us on 0709 907 000.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition. Now, further afield, at least 103 people have been killed by 2 bomb explosions near the tomb of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani on the 4th anniversary of his assassination by the U.S. Iran state media has reported. State broadcaster Trib said dozens more people were wounded when the blast hit a procession near the Sahib al-Salman Mosque in the southern city of Kerman.
Videos showed bodies on a road and ambulances rushing to the scene. It was not clear who was behind the explosions, and there were no immediate claims from any groups. However, Arab separatists, Islamic State, and other Sunni jihad groups have said they have carried out deadly attacks on security forces and Shia shrines in the country in recent years. Qasem Soleimani was seen as the most influential figure in Iran after the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali before he was killed in a US drone strike in neighboring Iraq in 2020. Wednesday's incident comes amid heightened tensions in the region after the deputy leader of the Iran-backed Palestinian group Hamas was killed in an apparent Israeli drone strike in Lebanon. He was a key figure in the Izzeddin al-Qassam Brigade, Hamas's armed wing, and a close ally to Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader. He had been in Lebanon acting as a connection between his group and Hezbollah. Joan Junge for Prime Edition.
Before we do business, apologies for that international story. The caption did not match the story. It was not an update really on the Japan earthquake. Rather, it was an update on the bombing in Iran where 103 people have died. Now, Equity Group Holdings PLC has announced the merger of Kogi Banki and Equity Bank Rwanda effective 31st of December 2023. The transformative merger of the two entities is geared towards driving economic growth and prosperity in Rwanda. Customers of the combined entity are set to benefit from better access to competitive and tailored financial services.
The amalgamation, which followed the receipt of all corporate and regulatory approvals, marks a significant milestone in the ongoing strategic growth initiatives of EG8 by Rwandan law. The business and activities previously conducted by Coge Bank and Equity Bank Rwanda will now be undertaken by Equity Bank Rwanda, which acquired all property, rights, privileges and liabilities of Coge Bank. This means that Coge Bank will be deregistered in accordance with the law governing companies in Rwanda and hence will no longer be a subsidiary of EGH. Post-merger, EGH holds 99.816% shareholding in Equity Bank Rwanda, with the remaining shareholding distributed among 3 other shareholders. Over the coming weeks, Coge Bank branded branches and other outlets will undergo a brand identity transition to that of Equity Bank Rwanda, symbolizing a seamless integration of services and a unified commitment to providing enhanced financial solutions to the people of Rwanda.
Coffee farmers from Kaguru Coffee Cooperative Society in Meru County are calling for the fast tracking of bonus payments. The farmers claim they have not received their payments since April last year.
The government had initiated plans to reform the coffee sector last year by eliminating middlemen and boosting earnings for farmers. However, small and medium-sized farmers are now challenging the government to fast-track payment of bonuses. The Kaguru Coffee Cooperative Society farmers say they are yet to receive payment since April of last year.
Mimi ningeomba serikali katika hii coffee amendment bill iko Senate na National Assembly. Nataka tuhakikishe ya kwamba tuwe na njia ya vile tutaweza kuvet other millers or marketers wale wazuri, sababu hata societies wanajua wale watu ambao hawatapeli kahawa yao na wanajua wale millers, wale marketers wazuri, including the international marketers.
Meru Senator Kaduri Murungi, who is also a coffee farmer and a member of the society, has also appealed to the national government to intervene by ensuring that the new KPCU makes haste in mailing the coffee in its possessions.
Kwa hivyo ningeomba serikali kupitia reforms zile ziko na the deputy president, tuone kama tunaweza angalia hata ile kahawa imerara sana kwa new KPCU iweze kupewa other millers with the same conditions ndio waweze kusaidia wakulima.
Farmers also decried the loss of coffee worth more than 2.5 million shillings in an alleged theft incident at the Kaguru Coffee Factory. They are now calling on the government to intervene. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
Graduates who applied for positions in the government's public service internship program PSIP have been urged to check the list of those appointed on the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection website and the PSC job portal. This is after the Public Service Commission announced the release of a list of 8,610 appointed Kenyans to serve in various departments under the Public Service Internship Program, that is PSIP. The sixth cohort of interns under the program will be paid a stipend of, or rather at a rate determined by the government as it seeks to cushion them, especially during these tough economic times.
The Public Service Internship Program, PSIP, is a government youth employment program whose main objective is to offer college graduates the opportunity to gain hands-on experience and build skills to enhance their chances for employment, networking, and entrepreneurship. The PSIP provides a platform for recent college graduates to acquire practical experience, thus enhancing their employability. Beyond that, it also presents ample opportunities for networking and entrepreneurial skills development. The integral facets of the program are aimed at equipping the interns with a well-rounded set of skills vital in today's dynamic and competitive job market. The Ministry of Labour and Social Protection has released a list of 8,610 appointed Kenyans to serve in various departments under the program. Meanwhile, female Kenyan healthcare workers seeking to work abroad can now apply for overseas jobs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, in a statement on its X account, announced the opportunities, saying the Saudi government would recruit female health workers to be employed as general nurses and healthcare assistant professionals on a 2-year renewable contract. Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Cruise tourism has grown rapidly over the past year in China, which pushed the country to step up the development of its shipbuilding industry and its cruise sector. China's first domestically built large cruise ship, the Adora Magic City, left a port in Shanghai on Monday afternoon for its commercial maiden voyage. It marked a new chapter for the country's shipbuilding and cruise industries.
Carrying more than 3,000 passengers, the ship set off from the Shanghai Western International Cruise Terminal and is expected to reach Northeast Asian tourist destinations, including Japan and the Republic of Korea, before returning on Sunday. The Adora Magic City is 323.6 meters in length, has a gross weight of 135,500 tons, and can accommodate up to 5,246 passengers with a total of 2,125 guest rooms, according to its builder. After 8 years of scientific research and 5 years of design and construction, the ship was delivered in November. China has become the fifth country after Germany, France, Italy, and Finland to be able to build large cruise ships. Meanwhile, Egypt is seeking to strengthen its economic ties within the BRICS after its official accession into the bloc of developing nations on January 1, 2024. The BRICS, comprising emerging economies including Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has doubled in size on New Year's Day by adding 5 new full members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. According to state statistics agency CAPMAS, Egyptians' export to BRICS market increased by 5.3% to hit $4.9 billion in 2022, up from $4.6 billion in 2021, while its imports from BRICS states increased by 11.5% year-on-year to hit $26.4 billion. Finally, US car maker Tesla has lost its crown as the top maker of all electric vehicles to Chinese firm BYD, according to sales figures released Tuesday, 2nd January 2024. The US-based car manufacturer run by billionaire Elon Musk delivered 484,507 vehicles in the fourth quarter of 2023, set a company filing up more than 11% from the previous quarter. But this increase was not enough to maintain Tesla's crown as the world top battery electric vehicle producer and seller, as Chinese rival BYD reported sales on Monday of 5,226,409 for the same period. However, Tesla was still the top seller of EVs on the annual basis, delivering more than 1.8 million vehicles to customers in the year to December, well above BYD's sales figure of just under 1.6 million. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
A report by Edna Murungi brings us to the end of business news. We are taking a breather and, of course, usher in the sports news. But, of course, after the sports news, we bring you the exclusive interview with the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, the Honorable Rebecca Miano.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Loto Moto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Edition Sports. I'm Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with athletics, where Julius Yego has set his eyes on qualifying for his 4th Olympic Games, where he hopes to rest the ghosts of Tokyo 2020, where he had a tournament to forget. Now Yego will return to javelin action from next month with the hope of attaining a qualifying mark in one of the meetings this year. The 2024 Olympic Games will be held from 26th July to 11th of August in France.
Julius Yego will be fully back in competitions from next month, where he hopes to attain an Olympics qualifying mark in one of the meets this year, as he plans to compete in some of the Diamond League meetings before eventually landing in Paris in July for the Olympic Games. Having competed for the last time at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, where he won a bronze medal, Yego wants to secure a gold medal in Paris, where he will be competing at his last Olympic Games. The 34-year-old Kenyan finished 12th at his first Olympic Games in London in 2012 before stunning the world with a silver medal at the Rio Games 4 years later.
It could be a new personal best here. 92 meters.
He had a disastrous outing at Tokyo 2020, where, despite recording a season's best of 77.34 meters, did not make it to the finals after finishing 24th in the qualification round.
It's the fact that now only Aki Parvainen and the world record holder Jans Leslie have ever thrown further than this young man.
Yego's biggest mountain to climb is lack of sponsorship that has hampered his efforts of regular competition time, with the injury he suffered closing all avenues of attracting a sponsor. Above all, Yego believes that serious investment and support in sprints and field events could propel Kenyan athletes to match their opponents from Europe and the United States of America.
Omanyala, Lyles, and it's Akiri going well for the 3rd spot. Disappointment there for Esame of Cameroon.
And Egyptian forward Mohamed Salah says he is determined to win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations for his country. Now Salah, who netted a brace in Liverpool's 4-2 win over Newcastle in Monday night's English Premier League game at Anfield, says after the game that the Egypt has the quality to win the trophy. Salah emphasized the importance of representing his country, describing it as a great feeling that he does not take for granted. With Egypt grouped alongside Ghana, Cape Verde and Mozambique, Salah is confident that his side can progress to the knockout stages and potentially win the tournament for a record 8th time.
Again from Gabert and saved by Edouard Mendy. He's taken quickly. Mohamed Salah down the line. Back inside. Mamouche! Side netting from the substitute. Egypt have won this one, and the
further afield, Brighton boss Roberto De Zerbi praised his side's very smart game after they kept their first Premier League clean sheet of the season in the goalless draw at West Ham. It was the first time in 24 league matches Brighton have not conceded a goal, ending a club record run. The point moved Brighton into 7th place above Manchester United, while West Ham are 3 points further ahead in 6th position.
A penalty had been given. Good ball into so.
Brighton earned a first Premier League clean sheet since May in a 0-0 draw at West Ham, but should have left with more from a wasteful attacking showing.
Benrahma chips it. It's going to drop toward Prowse. Steal again. Outstanding goalkeeping once again from Jason Steele. He's always got 2 or even 3 for company as he shapes it in. Brilliant delivery, brilliant save. Gross snuck in completely unnoticed. Into a crosses, he wants a handball, the referee says no. Now here's Pedro. Pedro slaloming forward, Buonanotte, back to Pedro, well Beccariola with the save. Pedro, Alvarez tracking him, Pedro cuts in field, he's still going, what a run, Pedro, what a stop from scoring. It's found its way through to Benrahma. This cross is a good one as well, and the back post is wide. Gilmore into Buonanotte, drops for Ferguson, that's beautiful control, and Oh, Pedro leaves it. That's clever. Milner's cross. Gross was there. It falls for Mona over the bar.
And that's how we end the Prime Edition Sports tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernard Okumu.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya huyo msichana imemalizwa.
Loto Moto. May the Almighty God bless you. Keep on doing the right thing.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Get ready for the captivating return of the FKF Premier League, exclusively on KBC. Brace yourself for the thrill of football as 18 teams battle it out for glory. Every week, KBC brings you not one, but two heart-pounding matches, delivering the best football action right to your living room. The stakes are higher than ever. The league champion takes home a handsome prize of 5 million shillings and also earns the honor of representing Kenya in the prestigious CAF Champions League. Feel the adrenaline, experience the suspense, and join the roar of the crowd as we celebrate the return of Kenya's football legacy. The FKF Premier League, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 and KBC radio stations. Save the date, mark your calendars, and get ready for the ultimate football spectacle. Coming to you live only on KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
Welcome back. There is a grand plan of the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, headed by the Cabinet Secretary the Cabinet Secretary, that is the Honourable Rebecca Miano. We sat down with her, and here is that interview. Of course, you also get to know a bit about her, and of course, her journey through to becoming the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry. Here is that interview.
Inspiration is like what is needed in life. It's what drives people. And I am inspired, but just the thought that I can make a difference in this country and that I can make a difference in people's lives. And the fact that God has placed me here, His Excellency has appointed me into this docket, it energizes me that I've been put in a place that I can make a difference. It also, one of the things that also motivates me is to see people who are determined, people who are just there to make a difference. And that to me is what I call excellence. So excellence is what inspires me. I was born in Nyandarua, in a place called Ndaragwa. And that's where my school started, intermediary, up to some time, mid-primary. My dad then took me to boarding school at class 4. Then I passed, went to secondary school in a school called Kapropita in Baringo, did my O-levels, passed very well, did my A-levels, I excelled, was admitted to the university, Nairobi University, where I did my law degree, finished, was admitted as an advocate, practiced a little bit, that didn't work too well. Then I went to corporate world. And when I got into corporate world, I think I found a calling for my career because I became a corporate lawyer throughout my career, climbed up the ladder, became legal director, company secretary, and in recent years, then I became a CEO in a big organization. From CEO, I was nominated to cabinet. Looking back at that journey, every step of it was a preparation for what I am today. It was not an easy life. A lowly family, a big family. I had 13 siblings, so we were 14. And you can imagine at that time, such a family, there are no luxuries. But our parents were determined to ensure, even if it's a large family, each one of us at least goes to school. Even if you don't have any other thing, at least you go to school. And that determination from my parents motivated us to do our best. And that's why I am here. At every stage, my determination is to do the very best of what I am doing.
So far you served in 2 dockets.
Yes.
Tell us how the switch was for you from corporate to government, and most importantly, what is the difference between that world and the world where you are?
Yes, thank you, John. Having served in corporate for a very long time, about 28 years, I had become a corporate guru. I had really specialized in corporate world. And then I joined government. My realization is that between corporate and government, there are a lot of similarities because the skills you require are the same skills. The qualifications you have are the same. People management requires the same skills, whether corporate or government. Strategic thinking, innovative thinking, excellence. And so as a person, the skills you have are applicable both for corporate and government. The difference is maybe the operating environment. In corporate, things are quite a lot structured. Calendars are fixed. Everybody knows their role and all that. But in government, and one of the things that really impressed me about government are the systems, especially the automated systems, the financial systems, HR systems, planning systems are very solid. Some of them are even stronger than what corporates have. It's only that then government, the operating environment is much wider. You can't quite tell the boundaries. And you're dealing with a lot more people. It is a job that is a product of a political process. It's because you have a political process, elections, you have a president, then the next steps are formation of a cabinet. Whereas in corporate, it is a recruitment process to fill an organization structure. So that being the case, in cabinet, you need to have a very open mind. You need to do a lot more to ensure that your roles are clarified, and you've got to be a really service-centric person, and you interact more with people. You've got to learn a lot of politics because it's a political job, but luckily the driving force, the North Star, is still the same for both worlds, both corporate and government. In my previous docket, East Africa Community, Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, I am proud of the milestones that we were able to achieve. In the East Africa docket, in deepening the integration, we were able to resolve quite a lot of non-trade barriers to enhance trade between our countries. We had various bilateral meetings. I do recall, while in that docket, I had the opportunity to visit most of the countries, meet ministers, to discuss any barriers to trade. So that is one of them. Secondly, I was able to participate and rally Kenyans to give their views, public participation for the proposed constitution of the East Africa Confederation. So the whole of May, we were there with a committee of experts, making sure that Kenya's voice is in there as we draft the constitution of East Africa Confederation. I was a good and active participant in the Council of Ministers. We passed many decisions. For example, the East African standards, the policies on standards. We did labor migration. We did something about unified insurance, so that if you're here today, you travel to another country in the East African region, and you have an insurance need or a medical need, you will be able to get the service in each of the East Africa countries. And we, as a Council of Ministers, I think we made quite good decisions. We were able to strengthen the Secretariat by recruiting some of the positions that were vacant, including deputies to the Secretary General. And then at a higher level, during that time that I was in the docket, I had the privilege of attending about 4 summits of heads of states. So arranging for this summit, articulating the issues, be it peace in the region, be it the approvals we needed. And so I was at that stage where I felt very well grounded in the East Africa community docket. For ourselves, and that is quite memorable to me, I was appointed when we were in the middle of the worst drought that Kenya had experienced for 40 years. And together with the guidance from our principals, His Excellency, his deputy, we were able to put in strategies and action plans to cope with the situation, to assist communities that were vulnerable. We did relief distribution. But then towards the end of the drought, we also started discussing on resilience building measures, because droughts will never end. So it's how will we cope better, so that in event of another drought, we do not have communities suffer as much as we saw. We saw livestock being wiped out, lack of food. I had managed to have round tables with donor partners. We had one in Turkana, one in Garissa, discussing real issues, including resilience building in ourselves. So with development partners, we had come up with a strategy of how to help the communities. We had identified water as the biggest need in ourselves, and we had even innovative ideas of adopt a borehole. And I was going to go to the development partners and telling them, how many boreholes will you adopt? How many will the government match? And also the county government. I was glad to work closely with the county governments, especially for the ASALs, and I had the privilege of visiting most of them. And so I'm very proud of the milestones that we achieved in the ASALs. For regional development, one of the activities that was important, those regional development authorities were formed in the 1970s, very old legislation, and we needed them to be in line with the new constitution, especially on devolution, so that their mandate is not overlapping with what counties were doing. We were in the middle, and even now it's still going on, public participation to have one omnibus bill that will govern the regional development authorities for them to undertake their mandates in a modern and legal way, be it governance issue, be they developmental issues, and that is still going on. And so I am very, very nostalgic and proud of the work that we were doing in that docket. And I really miss the professionals. We found many of them, they had worked in that docket for many years. They are specialized, they are doctors. The way they embraced me, I never lacked any information that I needed. And I was actually just looking forward to working in that docket for the long haul. Yes. I will start by saying I feel I'm settling in quite well. It's 2 months since the reshuffles. I've had opportunity to meet with my team, understand the mandate, remembering that trade is not new to me. Even in my previous engagement in energy, it was all about trade, it was about investment, and it was about industry. But now with an angle to energy. These are the dockets. East Africa Community is just about trade, but within East Africa Community. Regional development is also about industry, investment, trade. So I had quite a bit of hand and touch in matters trade, industry, and investment. But now I've landed in the real home of investment, trade, and industry. I must say, it is a big docket. It is a critical docket. It is catalytic to the development of this country. I have embraced the goals and the priorities and the activities that we must undertake in order to deliver on the bottom-up transformation agenda. So the short of it is that I'm settling quite well, but it's a very, very busy docket.
Most recently, even before we talk about the opportunities that exist in terms of investment in Kenya, is the signing of that groundbreaking deal, EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. For every Kenyan watching from out there who doesn't understand or says what we talk about when we say this groundbreaking deal, explain to us what it means for the Republic of Kenya.
Let me start by saying that when you sign such an agreement, is that it's like just going to the supermarket, the way you go and pick your goods and pay for them. But because this is a wider and more sophisticated market, you then sign an economic partnership agreement with provisions of how your trade will go, because it's not as simple as you picking and paying. So this agreement, and it has been under negotiations for a long time, I think since 2012 or something like that. The discussions then were between EU and the whole of East Africa Community, but along the line, some countries may not have been ready to progress to the level of signature and to the level of ratification. And then the heads of states in a summit meeting did resolve that countries can progress with the EPAs alone without the whole East Africa Community, because it was taking longer and and more issues were arising. And at that time, Kenya graduating to a lower middle income country, we needed to progress discussions with other partners. And so Kenya continued, picked it up from there, finished with the negotiations. And earlier this year in May, the negotiations were concluded. So there was tidying up, and on Monday, a historic moment, we signed the Economic Partnership Agreement between Kenya and the EU. This partnership agreement heralds a very unique opportunity for Kenya. It provides an immediate access of Kenyan goods to the EU market, the 27 countries. And over time, as we proceed, EU goods will also gain access to Kenyan market, but that is a little in future. The immediate is for Kenyan goods to get the market duty-free and quota-free. So what does that mean for the country? It does mean that we must place ourselves in a position where we'll be able to have our markets go to the European market, be it agriculture, be it all the other products that we can produce in Kenya. And the beauty and the importance of it proposes that we do value addition here in Kenya, and then just export finished goods to the European markets. It is an opportunity for our farmers, small, medium enterprises, our industries to position themselves to take up the markets that will come forth. The next steps, when Parliament is back from recess, we'll take the agreement for ratification, and we are working a roadmap. We shall be disseminating the information to have everybody identify which opportunities will be available for them, and we'll be ready to go for implementation. I look forward, as the lead implementer of the EPA, to making sure that we implement it in such a way that we then rejuvenate our market, rejuvenate our economy. The counties, through the county aggregation and industrial parks, must seize this opportunity, and all Kenyans must seize this opportunity. On the sidelines or part of the COP, there was an event, an African event, and Kenya was a significant player, and we had the launch of Africa Green Industrialization Initiative. And basically Kenya was the lead, and other countries participated. We had more than 6-7 heads of state who participated in that forum. In the forum, Kenya was able to announce, or had an opportunity to announce, some of the deals that we are working on. We announced an agreement for green energy at Menengai, a geothermal project, and then we have a tech agriculture project with United Green, and we also did, I think, a green data center between Konza and EcoCloud and a few others that we announced. We have a unique opportunity in Africa and also Kenya. We have green energy. We are good on carbon credits. Africa is the carbon basin of the world, and we must take advantage of getting green financing and green deals, and that will spur industrialization and the economy, not only of Kenya but of Africa. And so it was a momentous forum, and the participation was quite good, and African countries are now preparing themselves to lead the green industrialization initiative. Yeah. And this will create jobs. It will create markets for green goods. It will spur industrialization and attract even foreign investments into Kenya and into Africa. Yeah.
From Dubai, you accompanied the president to India. India, of course, for many Kenyans, it has a sentimental attachment owing to the number of Kenyans really flocking India to seek for treatment for cancer and other illnesses. But when it comes to the volume of trade or even investment that we are seeking from India, what is the picture like? What are we looking for? What are we looking at?
We had bilateral meetings with the government of Kenya, of course, from the presidency and the prime minister. We also had a Kenya-India business forum. Right now, the balance of trade is largely in favor of India. Yet, there are many products that Kenya has that are needed in Kenya. Right? There is good uptake of avocado, there is good uptake of other products, but that visit was an opportunity to deepen our relationships. We had a discussion, and there was a facility that was negotiated with India Exim Bank, and that will help even in terms of agricultural mechanization, in terms of agricultural just processing, and that is going on well. I was glad that His Excellency was able to conclude a $250 million facility with Indian Exim Bank. 100 million of that will go towards the county aggregation and industrial parks to make sure they have the mechanization they need, they have the equipment that is needed, and that so that is one. But a lot of interest that we saw in India and the medical field, telemedicine, pharmaceuticals, digital medicine, and a lot of businesses expressed interest, and that is also going on well. Green energy, we had great discussions. We had also discussions in e-mobility and almost any other field, including agriculture. I can tell you the appetite for Kenya that I saw in India gives me a lot of hope that the future will be much, much better. It's for Kenya to produce because the market is there. And then we have issues of trade, we discuss them, market access, and we'll be good to go. Number one, foreign direct investments. We must attract foreign direct investments into Kenya. Over the last few years, that has been dwindling to a low of even 500 million only by the end of 2021, down from an up of up to $20 billion in foreign investments. And so that will be a major focus. What we have done, we have mapped out which countries we will be reaching for foreign direct investments. And so we have a book, activities we require, so we'll hit the ground running in that regard to go looking for foreign direct investments. We will get jobs in that, we will increase our foreign currency, there will be more inflows, we'll build our economy. Number two is to increase exports. I have a target that Kenya should increase exports into other countries by 30% by 2025. And so all these activities that we are doing, signing the EPAs, discussion with the EU, discussion with other countries, the trade relations, is just to ensure that we can increase our exports. And for us to increase our exports, there is a nexus that we must produce enough for our local market, because there is no need of increasing exports and also increasing imports. We must reduce imports and increase exports. The counties, the aggregation centers, the value chains we are working on, the value addition is all in support of increasing exports. And you know the benefits of increasing exports? Just like the FDIs, you get more foreign exchange, you get more jobs, you spur your development and your economy. We have quite a number of activities in that regard for export. We must strengthen port operations, our processes, business climate. So that's the second one. The third one is just increasing manufacturing. Our manufacturing to GDP is not optimum. It is quite low. We must increase the percentage of manufacturing to GDP to 20% by 2030, what we are calling 20 by 30. So for you to increase manufacturing is to address the business environment in Kenya. Just last week, during the cabinet meeting, there was approval for me to lead a team, a task force, to work on business reforms. For a long time, Kenya has been concentrating on ease of doing business, and we've done quite well. We rank very well, up to number 56 globally, and Sub-Saharan Africa, country number 3 in ease of doing business. Feedback shows that now we need not to look at ease of doing business, but the cost of doing business. So the assignment I have is then to lead this team that will come up with business reforms, action plan in a bid to sort out the cost of doing business in support of manufacturing, local manufacturing and local industry. So John, if we achieve those things, we are widening our economy, rejuvenating it, putting more money in the pockets of our people, getting enough foreign currency, getting enough jobs, and you can imagine the impact of that. 2024 is a few days down the line. I think we have like less than 10 days to 2024. But we must take this festive season as a reflection so that we rejuvenate, finish strong, and start 2024 with the fire of the three goals that we are focusing on. I will tell them that it is possible. It is possible, opportunities are there, but the real work is for us and for the girl to prepare and equip themselves to get the necessary skills, the necessary qualifications, the necessary focus and qualities. Because when you get all those, they know no gender. If you're good at what you do, if you have the education, if you have the skills, if you have determination, if you're motivated, those things do not know any gender. And therefore, the girl there, the girl out there, the lady out there, it is good to know that it is all open for us. It is for us to equip ourselves to seize the opportunities and to have the confidence to go for it. But when you go for it, you must remain very good at what you do. Because if you don't remain very good at what you do, then people remember your gender. They actually remember that's a lady, that's a girl, that's a woman. But when you're so good at what you do, it matters no more. And so I encourage the girl watching out there, do your best. Have the confidence, have the competence, and believe in yourself. Yes. I was that girl that you're asking what I could tell. I was that girl. It also challenges me that it is not enough to tell that girl the message without me evolving as the role model. A good role model that the girl will look at and say, what she has said, she has actually lived it. And this is a living example of what it can be. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Waziri, and happy holidays.
Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas and a very blessed and bountiful 2024. We look forward to a blessed 2024. And with the things I've told you that we are focusing on, we put our eyes on the goal, our hands on the deck. There will be no reason whatsoever that 2024 will not be a better year. It will definitely be, and we carry the lessons of 2023 to deliver a better 2024. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's why we put a cap on the interview. We were talking to the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, the Honourable Rebecca Miano. The lessons of 2023 of.
And of course, that brings to an end the interview with the CS Rebecca Miano. You will notice that she wishes you Merry Christmas. Of course, this was part of our ongoing end-year series. We are already into 2024. But of course, the greater plan for the ministry is obviously looking at, new grounds in the green energy, some of the investments that you can pursue there. But most importantly, the cost of doing business is part of the key priorities of the Cabinet Secretary. But for those who seek inspiration from her, confidence, competence, and believing in yourself are her mantra. is how we put a cap on Prime Edition. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Have yourself a good night. Lucy Maura was the sign language interpreter.
Tere, mambo ni mawili, kufikisha, kumwaga na kurudi. Kulala ni mwaka mpya.
Bua muka we mse. Nini mbaya? Wewe kwani wani vile dereva anaendesha gari vibaya? Lazima tususe. Anaendesha gari na kwa simu the whole time hata angalia barabara. Ewe dereva wewe, mwaka iliyopita peke yake watu zaidi ya 3,000 walipoteza maisha yao barabarani kwa sababu ya tabia kama hizo. Hautatuangamiza tukiona.
Naomba msamaha, nitampeleka vizuri.
Si wameomba msamaha. Sasa tuende tusafiri kwa mwendo wa aste.
Dere Smart hufikisha abiria salama. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
Cheza Loto Moto.
We've gone ahead tukamaliza pia school fees ya your other kid.
Thank you God. Asante sana Loto Moto.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Tukakuja tukaambia watu wetu pesa hiyo inatakikana hiyo 60,000. Tumejaribu kutafuta. Tukiambia watu wa nyumbani washughuliki. Tukiambia badada zangu wengine washughuliki. Tunajaribu kuambia hata